Hello super coaches and welcome to our first podcast of 2025. Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year break. I know one man who has, and it is Dave Campbell, second place finisher. Judging by that facial hair, you had a great little break over the Christmas period.
I was on holidays, I lost the razor.
Yeah.
I haven't shaved it. The wife likes it. It makes me look older than her for once, she says. So I'm not allowed to remove it just yet.
Yeah, happy wife, happy life,
Exactly.
That's for sure. We're chatting cheapies today. Obviously, it's the biggest decision to make in your SuperCoach team. If you're new to SuperCoach, the cheapies are the guys that make your money. You're going to need 10, maybe 12, maybe even more in your starting team. So we're going to run through the most popular cheapies this year. Number one on the list is Isaiah Yongi from the Eels. So he played at the Panthers for one game last year, but was stuck behind Dylan Edwards and probably a bunch of other guys. Looks like the sort of guy that I like having at fullback for SuperCoach, given that he's got a high work rate. He made 19 runs in that one game that he played for the Panthers last year. 5 tackle busts per game in New South Wales Cup. Looks like the kind of guy that will be great for SuperCoach. The issue though is it's going to be hard to fit him in at fullback only, given that he's only got that one position for SuperCoach and we want 2 guns there. But with the flex position, I reckon he's the perfect flex guy.
Yeah, I mean, Gutho's gone, so the spot's open. The flex position, it opens up a lot of possibilities. You know, you can still run 2 gun fullbacks and have a cheapie there, which is gold. We've really been, we say it all the time, last several years we've really been spoilt for choice in that position with such high quality players that can pump out massive scores. It's always, hard to leave guys out. You need the cheapies to make the money, to build your team, but you really don't want to miss out on those points. Having that flex position means maybe you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yep, absolutely. And you may be wondering why we're talking about SuperCoach when the game hasn't even launched yet. The launch is coming pretty soon, around Australia Day. But for subscribers, you can get in there with the team picker. If you've got a SuperCoach Plus subscription, get in there, pick your team, see all the prices, all the positions, etc. So I suggest you dive in now. The next guy on the list is Sandon Smith, who I like. He's in my team. They've got Luke Keary, who has left the club, and Walker, who's got that ACL injury. So he'll start in the halves. Averaged 55 when he started in the halves last year. But he played 10 games off the bench. So he starts really cheap.
Yeah, he's bottom dollar, he's 237k, so I've got him in my team at the moment as well. Obviously, there's some legal issues hanging over him at the moment, but hopefully that stuff's sorted out before we get to the start of the season, and he's be confirmed. Trial matches will tell, obviously, but he's a really, really good option, and a lot of other people at the moment obviously think so as well, being in almost 57% of teams.
Peter Mamazelos looks like the top guy in the hooker position. Damien Cook's left the club. He's captain of the Dragons this year, which means Mamazelos probably becomes the number 1 hooker. Averaged only 30 minutes last year, so you'd expect that improves. Can't see him going down at all. I don't absolutely love him as a purchase, but you're probably going to need a cheapie or at least a value guy at hooker, and Mamazelos looks the best guy for now, although there are some other things that we should look at, like what's going to happen with the Eels hooking situation, for example. But for now, I think Mamazelos is the guy.
He's not a bad option if you are looking to have someone there, partnering with a gun. Last year I went 2 guns to start the season in hooker. It's nice to be able to just not have to worry about that position. But I can totally see people looking at him when you need to make money early in the season.
Robert Toya is an interesting one. I'm going to group him together with Billy Smith because essentially they're gunning for those same spots there at the Roosters, who have lost Suali'i, Joey Manu and Michael Jennings, who played quite a bit of NRL last year. Robert Toya is at 49%. He's essentially in half of SuperCoach teams right now. He's essentially bottom dollar. He's injury prone. He's basically his last couple of seasons have been ruined by injury. And it's the same for Billy Smith as well, who looks like a seriously talented player, but just can't get through these injuries. If you see them named for round 1, I think both of them have to be in contention. hopefully they can get through the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the movement there at the Roosters, there's so many positions up for grabs. It'd be great if Toya could grab one of those because, like you said, less than 200k, he'd just be primed to make a stack of cash. We saw how well the Roosters backline scored last year. If they can pick up where they left off, I know Sam Walker's out and that'll have implications for how their attack operates. But if guys as cheap as that can even get a fraction of the tries that they were pumping out last year, it's big cash to be made.
Yeah, big time. And just for reference, I am going through the most popular cheapies in SuperCoach. You can see the full list of most popular players. Literally just got them in order of most popular to least popular, or it's the top 10 or 15 or so. Schuster, he's always a controversial player, and it happens in any sport, but someone who is a really talented player who doesn't quite live up to their potential is always the one that is sort of hated by fans the most. But it doesn't matter for SuperCoach. He's like, talent-wise, he's right up there with the best. He's got the new coach in Wayne Bennett. I'm shocked to see him so far down this list at 39%. It's still a lot of people have got him.
Yep.
I think you just have to take a punt on a guy who is this talented.
Oh, Josh Schuster, he's just a mystery wrapped in an enigma wrapped in like
exactly.
He's just that guy who's always promised so much, like you said. But Rabbitohs, Wayne Bennett, if anyone can unlock him, you wouldn't put it past Wayne. So and we've seen what he can do, and he's priced at 265,000. If Wayne can unlock him, there's some serious money to be made there.
Yeah, I think you just have to take the punt on him. The upside is just too big. And look, he probably plays from the bench from round one, doesn't get big game time, but it could be a slow burn throughout the season, particularly if we see some photos of him looking really fit during the off-season. Certainly Latrell is looking extremely fit. So one of the guys who I'm going for, a whole bunch of players I'm just keen to see under Wayne Bennett again, who just underperformed last year under Dimitri.
I'm sure they're all training the house down.
Yeah, exactly.
How many training the house downs have we had so far?
Oh, I think that people try to avoid that term now, but there's been a lot. People say it in a different way.
It's the kiss of death.
But yeah. Speaking of training the house down, Royce Hunt, I've got no idea if he is training the house down or not, but he's gone from the Sharkies to the Tigers. So realistically, he should see an increase in minutes. But looking at him over his career, he's also only ever been used as a bench impact guy. He's never played more than 29 minutes per game in a season. They've got Terrell May, who they've brought in at the Tigers as well, so he takes up a lot of minutes. They have lost Bateman and Papali'i, but certainly Papali'i was more of an edge player. I don't know where the minutes are quite going to come for Royce Hunt, so I think I'll avoid.
Yeah, I'm not confident on it either. All the reasons you mentioned, and the Tigers they keep underperforming, and because of that, the clean-outs keep happening. There's so much recruitment. It's such a fluid club in terms of player movements. You don't know who's going to come in, what minutes they'll get. Hunt's always been good from a points per minute standpoint, but the minutes just haven't always been there. Yeah. He scores at more than a point per minute, which is great. But you'd really want to see how Benji Marshall is going to use him to justify a purchase there.
Yeah, I just see that Terrell May is going to play some pretty big game time there. So look, and I think he's always been used as an impact guy. So I'll be avoiding for now. Having said that, the cheapies at front row are not very good. So no matter who we pick in that slot, if we even have to, you're probably not going to be happy with that selection. On to Jesse McLean. This one's interesting because he and his brother are essentially gunning for the same spot there at the Panthers. They've lost Taruva. Jesse is the cheapest one because he was injured last year. He seemed to be ahead of his brother before that, and then Casey came in last season, absolutely killed it, did incredibly well, and now he could be in front for that position, but he's a lot more expensive for SuperCoach. So we want Jesse to score that spot, not Casey, and they're easy to get confused.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've all seen what the Panthers have done over the last 4 years. They just keep performing. They keep pumping out amazing players who just deliver. You definitely, at that price for Jesse, I think 234,000. You definitely have a look if you can land that spot, because you know that there's going to be tries. It's the Panthers. Yeah. It's a lock-in if you can get it.
Yeah, one of the best spots to be in rugby league, on the wing for the Panthers, that's for sure. On to Jackson Purdue. So another spot that's definitely open. They've lost some guys there at the Cowboys, including Kyle Felt and Valentine Holmes. Purdue is sort of in the running, but he's kind of running for a half spot as well. He's very popular for SuperCoach right now. The other guy who is popular is Robert Darby. Either way, SuperCoaches know that there is probably, potentially, going to be a cheapie pop-up in this position at the Cowboys for SuperCoach this season. It's just a matter of who it's going to be. People are backing Purdue at the moment, but we'll just wait and see what happens in the trials.
Yeah, I mean it's not a no, but it really is one for team lists, isn't it? Like, you just whoever gets there. There's a lot of competition in the Cowboys for those roles, so it's really just a wait and see. Whoever's named, there you go.
Carter Gordon is an interesting one because he's a former Wallaby. He's played 8 games for the Wallabies and now comes into the Titans. Priced pretty well, it's 330 odd K. I'm not sure if he's there for round 1. They've got some decent outside backs like Alofiana Camperera, for example, but it's not like they've got amazing outside backs too. So I wouldn't be completely shocked to see him come in and get a round 1 spot at 336K. You'd have to go there. Having said that, when I said a round 1 spot, I actually meant a round 2 spot because they don't play in round 1. So it's going to be tough to get any Titans in from the start. Even Tino Fasamawali, he's got that bye in round 1. He's by far the most popular player in SuperCoach. So do you question that?
I mean, it's one of those things, like you could record a bit about players coming back from ACL injuries and then just hit play every time, because we say the same thing. You want to have a look. Players coming back from ACLs, it's tough. They don't always look like the same player they were when they initially went down. And so Tino's obviously been an amazing SuperCoach player for a long time, but you probably want to have a look at him. And they've got that bye. You want to make sure you don't want to be loading up on players who've got a bye. You want to make sure you've got a team of players who are starting, and you want to have a look at him. So even with Tino, I reckon you wouldn't want to be bringing him in until round 5.
Yeah.
You've got the bye out of the way. He's then had 3 matches. You've seen how he's performed. If he's going to take a price drop, you can avoid him. If he's come out all guns blazing, you can jump on before he goes up.
Yep, I tend to agree, absolutely. And he is in 75% of SuperCoach teams
wild.
right now.
It's wild.
It's nuts that he's in so many sides. But you couldn't carry. I think you can carry one Titan if they're a really good buy. You wouldn't want to carry him and Carter Gordon, for example. On to left field cheapie of the year. I always love this segment. I want to pick the brain of the second place SuperCoacher from last year, Dave Campbell. Who are you thinking?
It's borderline cheapie. But a lot of people looking at Corey Horsburgh at the Raiders. I quite like him. He's 355,000. He played not much last year. I think 5 games all up. But in 2023, he played 22 games for an average of 62 points a game, and an average of 62 minutes per game. So he was hitting out at 1 point per minute, which is amazing. He's dual status as well. That's really rare. We've seen in the last couple of years to have someone that's dual status. So being able to slot him between front row and second row would be a massive help. Obviously want to see how all that plays out in the trials, but if he's fit, healthy in the team, and he can replicate what he did in 2023, he's borderline keeper.
Yeah, he's definitely got the talent to pull that off. I'm going with a real rookie in Jacob Halengar, who from the Dragons, I've been hearing really good things about him in preseason training. I don't think he'll play round 1 unless there are injuries. I think he's going to be a great mid-season cheapie. So pencil Halangahu in, and if you've seen highlights of this kid playing, he absolutely tore it up in the juniors last season. Let's go questions. So obviously we're not live today, but we've got heaps of questions coming through on Twitter. PZ is asking, and I'm assuming this is Paul Zines, the fantasy boss, as he calls himself in SuperCoach. He literally is our boss. He runs fantasy, but his SuperCoach name is the SuperCoach boss. He's not into himself at all. Do you think Lomax plays centre or wing? And that which will majorly impact whether he should be picked for SuperCoach. We want him on the wing. I think he will play wing. I don't see why they would switch him after he did so well. The big thing for Lomax is whether he kicks goals, because they got Mitchell Moses at that club too. Hasn't been decided yet, but definitely keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be mad to have seen the performance at the Dragons last year on the wing and then not put him there at the Eels. It makes sense. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Who are the biggest traps of 2025, and why is it Luai? I tend to agree that Luai going from such a good club in the Panthers to the Tigers is definitely a trap. He's really popular. I don't quite see that one. Tino is another one that we both brought up recently. He shouldn't be at 75%. He's very tempting. And Royce Hunt, I just don't get Royce Hunt because he's never been a big minute player.
Yeah, and I'm happy to add Tom Amoni to that list as well. He's one of those cheapies that it'll be a super slow burn on any cash generation, and he might make cash, but it'll be so slow that he could end up being one of those guys that you end up stuck with, and you just can't get out of your team, and that you hate to see that every year. There's one guy that you want to get rid of and you plan to get rid of, but the cash generation is so slow, you end up stuck with them, and then they're an auto emergency nightmare. Can't use the captaincy loophole. It's a whole thing.
So pretty much we've just poo-pooed the three most popular players at prop for SuperCoach next year. Prop is tough, particularly in the cheapies, because they are slow burns, as you say. And Tino, there's question marks over him too, but he's dual position as well, so you can pick him up at both, but you'd want to play him at prop. We'll go to our next question. Any love? This is from Antoine Posa, who is a mad Warriors fan. Any love for Aaron Clark in light of the Tohu Harris retirement? Definitely. I'm not sure. I don't have any mail from Warriors, but someone like Dylan Walker could come in and play big minutes at lock as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors have always been really stacked for forwards. Can't think why. But, we really just want to see in the trials, like what they do with that minute allocation. Clark's a great shout, but you really want to see the trials and how they kind of break up Tohu's role. Mark
Lawless is asking, is running two cheap hookers too risky? For me, it is. I don't even like the one cheap hooker that I've got in Mamazelos. So I'll want to go two gun hookers there, hoping some value pops up somewhere though. I'll have to go with, I'd say, one gun hooker and one cheapie for now. We'll see.
Yeah, two cheapie hookers would make me really nervous.
Big time.
It'd keep me awake at night.
100%. Well, that is it for our cheapie episode. Big thanks to Dave Campbell. The game is launching soon around Australia Day, so it's coming. If you want to pick a team, you can get a SuperCoach Plus subscription, $29.95 for the season. Get in there now, pick your side, see the prices, see the positions. We'll catch you next time.